You know what? I have been gardening for over 60 years, and let me tell you a little secret about growing eggplants that most beginners miss completely. Most folks plant their eggplants all alone in a single pot or a bare raised bed. And what happens? Pests attack, leaves turn yellow, and the harvest disappoints. Then they rush to the store and spend a fortune on chemical fertilizers and pesticides, hoping to save their precious plants. But believe it or not, that is a mistake. What if I told you there is a 4,000-year-old secret that costs exactly $0? Yes, you heard that right. Absolutely $0 out of your pocket. 500%. That is right. A 500% increase in your harvest just by giving your lonely eggplant the right friends in the garden bed. This is not some new internet trend. This is an ancient agricultural technique called the Three Sisters, originally created by Native American farmers thousands of years ago. Traditionally, the Three Sisters consisted of corn, beans, and squash. They grew together in perfect harmony, supporting each other without needing any artificial chemicals or extra fertilizers. But here is the exciting part. We can adapt this brilliant ancient wisdom specifically for eggplants, creating a customized $0 ecosystem right in your own backyard. In our adapted version, the eggplant takes the place of the corn. It grows tall and provides a strong, sturdy central pillar for our little community of plants. Next, we bring in the second sister, which is the bush bean. These beans are the ultimate team players, acting as natural nitrogen factories for our hungry eggplants. Down in the soil, the roots of these beans pull nitrogen straight from the air and share it directly with the eggplant. It is literally free fertilizer on demand. Finally, we introduce the third sister, the marigold flower. These bright, beautiful blossoms replace the squash, stepping up as the ultimate bodyguards for our precious vegetable patch. Marigolds release a strong, natural scent that confuses and repels bad pests like nematodes and aphids, keeping your eggplants completely safe without a single drop of toxic spray. When you put these three together, they form an unbreakable bond. They protect each other, feed each other, and create a thriving microenvironment that guarantees a massive yield. Stick around, because now I am going to show you exactly how to plant this powerful trio, step by step, ensuring you get that 500% harvest. You know what? Before we dive into the exact steps for our eggplants, we need to understand where this incredible wisdom actually came from. Thousands of years ago, long before modern chemical fertilizers were ever invented, Native American farmers developed a genius system called the Three Sisters. This original trio consisted of corn, climbing beans, and squash. They realized that planting these three specific crops together created a perfect, self-sustaining family. First, let us look at the corn. The tall, strong corn stalk acts as a natural, living trellis for the beans to climb on. By providing this sturdy, vertical support, the corn completely eliminates the need for you to build expensive wooden trellises or buy plastic netting. Next comes the second sister, the climbing beans. But they do not just take a free ride up the cornstalk, they actually pay rent. Here is the secret. The beans pull nitrogen straight out of the air and fix it down into the soil, feeding the entire plant family. Finally, we have the third sister, the squash. Those massive, broad squash leaves spread out across the ground, acting like a living, green mulch. These giant leaves shade the soil, keeping it cool and moist during hot summer days, and they completely block out any annoying weed seeds. And get this, the prickly hairs on the squash vines act as a natural barbed wire fence, keeping hungry pests like raccoons far away. I have been gardening for decades, and I can honestly say this ancient system is a masterpiece of natural engineering. Nothing is wasted here. The corn supports the beans feed the corn and squash the squash protects the roots of everyone. It is pure perfection. But modern agriculture completely forgot this wisdom. We started planting massive fields of just one crop, destroying the soil and inviting endless pest attacks. However, we can bring this ancient magic back into our modern backyards. and we can customize it perfectly for our favorite hungry crop, the eggplant. So, how exactly do we swap out the corn and squash to make this work for eggplants? Stick around, because that is coming up next. You know what? The traditional Three Sisters uses corn, but we are going to swap that out. For our incredible $0 ecosystem, the eggplant takes center stage. Now you want to start by planting your eggplant right in the middle of your raised bed. This gives it plenty of room to grow strong and tall. As the eggplant matures, it develops a thick, incredibly sturdy main stalk. It essentially becomes a miniature tree right in the middle of your beautiful vegetable garden. This strong central stalk is absolutely crucial, folks. It acts as the anchor for our entire plant family, providing shade and structural support for its smaller companions. Look at these massive, beautiful purple-veined leaves. They spread out perfectly, catching the morning sunlight while creating a gentle, protective canopy for the soil down below. Down in the soil, the eggplant sends out a deep, powerful root system. It reaches far into the earth, drawing up essential moisture and vital nutrients. But here is the thing. An eggplant growing all by itself quickly drains the soil of nitrogen, leaving it weak and vulnerable to all sorts of pests. When planted alone, it becomes a prime target. But when placed as the centerpiece of our adapted Three Sisters Guild, it transforms into an absolute powerhouse of production. The sturdy, woody stem stands firm against strong summer winds. It creates a stable microclimate, shielding the surrounding soil from the harsh, baking afternoon sun. I have tested this method for years, and let me tell you, placing the eggplant in the center is the key to unlocking that massive 500% harvest. You want to give your central eggplant a good head start. Let it grow for about 2 weeks before you even think about introducing the second sister. This head start ensures the main stalk is thick and strong enough to handle the company. It needs to establish its territory before the neighbors move in. Underground, those roots are building the foundation of our $0 ecosystem. They are preparing to connect and share resources with the friends we will plant next. Soon, you will see these gorgeous purple blossoms appear. This is the sign that our central pillar is ready to welcome its highly beneficial companion plants. Now that our eggplant is settled like a king on a throne, it is time to bring in the nitrogen factory. Are you ready to meet the second sister? You know what? It is time to bring in the bush beans. These little guys are the absolute perfect companions for our growing eggplant. About 2 weeks after planting your eggplant, you want to sow your bush bean seeds in a circle, right around the base of the main stalk. Bush beans grow incredibly fast. Within just a few weeks, they will sprout up and start creating a dense, protective green carpet over the soil. This dense, living mulch is fantastic. It shades the earth, keeps the moisture locked in during hot days, and stops annoying weed seeds from ever sprouting. Look at this perfectly moist soil underneath the bean leaves. By simply planting these beans, you are reducing your watering needs by almost 50%. But keeping the soil moist is just a bonus. The real magic, the true $0 secret, is happening completely out of sight, underground. Down in the dark earth, the bean roots are hard at work. They act like microscopic natural fertilizer factories running 24 hours a day. See these tiny white bumps on the roots? Those are nitrogen-fixing nodules. They literally pull nitrogen gas straight out of the air we breathe. Nitrogen is the most expensive nutrient you can buy at the garden center. But these incredible bush beans manufacture it entirely for free. Instead of hoarding it, the beans release this precious nitrogen into the soil, feeding our hungry central eggplant exactly when it needs it most. Thanks to this free fertilizer, the eggplant's leaves turn a deep, vibrant green. It grows stronger, faster, and prepares to produce a massive harvest. I have been gardening for decades, and seeing this natural teamwork never gets old. The eggplant supports the beans, and the beans feed the eggplant. And here is another amazing benefit. Not only do the beans feed the soil, but they also give you a delicious secondary harvest of fresh green beans. That is right. You are getting 2 crops from the exact same space while spending $0 on artificial chemical fertilizers. It is brilliant. But wait, our ecosystem is not complete yet. We still need protection from nasty pests. Are you ready to meet the mighty third sister? Well. Introducing the third sister, the beautiful marigold. We are swapping out the traditional squash for these bright orange flowers to complete our team. You want to plant these marigolds around the outer edge of your raised bed. They will form a living, glowing ring of protection around your eggplants. Within a few weeks, they explode into a sea of brilliant orange and yellow blooms. But these flowers are not just here to look pretty. You see, my grandfather used to say, "A garden without bodyguards is an open buffet for bugs." And eggplants are absolute magnets for hungry pests. Things like aphids, whiteflies, and spider mites love to attack solitary eggplants, sucking the life out of the leaves and ruining your hard-earned harvest completely. But when you plant marigolds, their leaves and flowers release a strong, pungent scent into the air. This natural perfume acts as a powerful, invisible shield. Believe it or not, this scent completely confuses the bad bugs. They cannot smell the eggplant anymore, so they just fly right past your garden. And the magic continues underground. The roots of the marigolds secrete a natural chemical that repels root knot nematodes, which are microscopic worms that destroy eggplant roots. These harmful nematodes take one sniff of the marigold root chemicals and turn right around. Your eggplant's root system stays perfectly safe, healthy, and untouched. 500%. Yes, your harvest increases massively because you are not losing a single plant to pests, and you spent $0 on toxic chemical sprays. Instead of spending your money on expensive, harmful pesticides at the store, you let nature do the hard work. This is the ultimate $0 pest control. And get this, while they push away the bad bugs, these bright flowers actually attract the good guys. Ladybugs, hoverflies, and honeybees absolutely love them. These friendly pollinators will visit your marigolds, and while they are there, they will pollinate your eggplant blossoms too, giving you an even bigger vegetable yield. Now that is what I call a perfect system. The eggplant stands tall, the beans feed the soil, and the marigolds protect the entire family. We have our powerful trio ready, but how exactly do we space them out in the bed? Stick around, because the step-by-step planting guide is next. You know what? Getting the spacing right is the absolute key to this $0 ecosystem. Give them too little room, and they will compete. For a standard raised bed, you want to dedicate a 3-foot by 3-foot square area specifically for one of these magnificent plant guilds. Right in the exact center of that square, plant your single eggplant seedling. This will become the tall, structural anchor for everything else around it. Now here is the secret. Do not plant the beans right away. Let the eggplant grow alone for 2 full weeks so it establishes deeply. After those 14 days, draw a circle in the dirt about 12 inches away from the eggplant base. This is where your beans will go. Plant exactly 4 bean seeds evenly spaced along that circle. They need enough room to spread out and create that beautiful, living green mulch. Finally, we add the bodyguards. Go to the outer edge of your 3-foot square and plant 4 marigold seedlings, 1 in each corner. So you have 1 eggplant in the middle, 4 beans circling it, and 4 marigolds standing guard at the corners. It is a perfect fortress. For the first 30 days, water this entire guild deeply at the base twice a week. Never spray the leaves, or you might invite fungus. To save even more money and water, grab some dry autumn leaves or organic straw and spread a 2-inch layer over the bare soil. This organic mulch acts like a protective blanket. It keeps the summer heat out, locks the precious moisture in, and breaks down into free compost. By week 3, the bean plants will start touching each other, completely shading the root zone. From this point on, your watering needs drop dramatically. Underground, the root networks are finally connecting. The microscopic fungal web is established, and the free nitrogen transfer from the beans is working at maximum capacity. Around day 30, you will spot the first tiny eggplants forming, completely safe from pests, thanks to the strong, pungent smell of the blooming marigolds. And that is exactly how you build it. But what really happens down in that microscopic fungal web? Stick around because that is truly mind-blowing. Believe it or not, the most incredible part of this $0 ecosystem is entirely invisible. Down in the dirt, there is a bustling microscopic city. Scientists call it the Wood Wide Web. It is a vast, glowing network of tiny fungal threads called mycelium, connecting every single plant in our garden. These tiny, white fungal threads physically attach themselves to the roots of our eggplant, the beans, and the marigolds, linking them together like a biological internet. In this underground economy, nothing is wasted. The plants use sunlight to create liquid sugar, and they trade this sweet syrup to the fungi for minerals. Look at this incredible transfer. The nitrogen fixed by our bush beans is traveling straight through the fungal highway, directly into the roots of our hungry eggplant. I have been gardening for 60 years, and let me tell you, watching nature build its own automatic feeding system is just truly mind-blowing. It even shares water. The deep taproot of the eggplant pulls moisture from deep underground, sharing it through the web to keep the shallow marigolds hydrated. But it gets even better. This biological internet also acts as an early warning alarm system against dangerous predators lurking in the dark soil. If a harmful nematode attacks a root on the edge of the bed, a chemical warning signal flashes through the web, alerting the entire plant family instantly. Receiving the warning, the eggplant immediately boosts its own natural chemical defenses. It becomes practically bulletproof before the pest even gets close to its main stalk. Honestly, it is amazing. You have an intelligent 24/7 automated feeding and defense system, and you did not have to pay a single penny for it because the eggplant never lacks nutrients, never suffers from thirst, and never gets stressed by pests. It can focus 100% of its energy into making fruit. Those tiny purple baby eggplants we saw earlier, they rapidly swell up into massive, heavy, glossy vegetables. The sheer volume of food being produced is just staggering. And the best part? If you dig your hands into the earth right now, the soil is actually richer and healthier than the day we first planted. We are approaching the final harvest day. Stick around because the final yield comparison between this method and expensive chemical farming is going to absolutely shock you. Well. The moment of truth has finally arrived. Let us look at the actual harvest from our $0 companion planted garden bed. From just a single central plant, we are harvesting over 20 pounds of flawless, glossy purple eggplants. This yield is absolutely staggering for a home garden. On the left, the chemical method yielded only 3 sad, pest-damaged fruits. On the right, our natural ecosystem produced a massive 500% increase. And remember, that is not even counting the secondary harvest. We also gathered baskets full of crisp, delicious green bush beans from the exact same space. You know what? The best part of this massive harvest is the cost. We spent absolutely $0 on artificial nitrogen or toxic pest control sprays. By ditching those expensive, harmful chemical bottles, you save your hard-earned money while keeping your family and the local environment completely safe from toxins. Plus, instead of depleting the earth, this method actually leaves the underground ecosystem richer, darker, and more alive than when we first started planting. When winter comes, the beans and marigolds will naturally break down, turning into free compost that feeds your garden soil for the next growing season. Nature has its way of teaching us. When we stop fighting the ecosystem and start working with it, the results are simply mind-blowing. The eggplant provides the strong, shady structure. The beans pull free nitrogen from the air, and the bright marigolds act as the ultimate pest bodyguards. This 4,000-year-old Three Sisters method proves that diversity is the true secret to agricultural strength, even in a small, modern backyard setup. So next spring, I challenge you to stop planting your vegetables all alone. Give your eggplants some friends and watch your harvest multiply like crazy. You will save money, you will save time, and you will grow the most delicious, healthy vegetables your family has ever tasted in their lives. I have been gardening for decades, and sharing these secrets is my greatest joy. If you learned something valuable today, Please subscribe and join our community. Until next time, keep your hands dirty, keep your soil healthy, and happy gardening to you all. I will see you in the next video.